Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the live lecture of functional analysis. In the last lecture, we have seen some basic notions such as metric space. Metric function we have seen earlier. Therefore, metric space is actually a vector space together with the metric d. That is a vector space in which a distance is calculated with the help of a metric d is called as a metric space. Secondly, we have seen the definition of a norm function. Norm is the generalization of a metric which is used to calculate again the distance between the 2 points. Therefore, norm is a function defined on a vector space n to R or C which satisfies the four conditions. First condition, norm is non-negative. Norm is 0 if and only if it is vector 0 itself. Norm x plus y less than or equals to norm x plus norm y, and norm alpha x is mod alpha times norm of x. Okay, the geometrical aspect or interpretation of every condition we have discussed in detail. I'm not going to repeat that part again. Okay, then a norm linear space is again a linear space together with a norm function. That is a linear space in which the distance between the 2 points is being calculated with the help of a norm function is called as a normed linear space, and it is denoted by in a bracket n comma norm. We have discussed also now why this is double vertical bars as a symbol, because usually previously to find out the distance we were using modulus relation, and modulus is actually two vertical bars, two single vertical bars we were using. Therefore, to just make the generalization, now we were using two double vertical bars, right? Two double vertical bars to denote the distance. Then, as of we were discussing the non-linear space, and from now onwards, the whole discussion is based on normed linear space only. Therefore, we have to just recall some definitions like convergence sequence, Cauchy sequence, etc. Therefore, if I want to define convergence of a sequence in a normed linear space n, then how one should define? The basic definition remains same. That is, a sequence is said to converge to an element x in n if for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a stage n naught say, such that what is the change we have made? Previously, we were writing mod xn minus x, right now? We were writing mod of xn minus x less than epsilon. What this mod is actually giving us? Distance between the two sequence points or sequence point and the limit, right? This is a distance. Now, in the non-linear spaces, we were finding the distance between the 2 points with the help of norm. Therefore, what is the simple change we have made? That this modulus is replaced by a norm function. Same is applicable for the Cauchy sequence as well. Previously, we were writing mod of xn minus xm less than epsilon. Now, this modulus is now just replaced by the norm function. Okay, and later we have seen the definition of a complete normed linear space. Okay, what is complete normed linear space? A normed linear space is said to be complete if every Cauchy sequence in the space converges to an element in the same space. Converges to element of n itself. That is, norm xn minus xm tends to 0 or less than epsilon, anything one can write. Then there exists xn such that norm of xn minus x is tending to 0 or less than epsilon. This is what a definition of a complete normed linear space. This is what a definition of complete normed linear space. Okay, one can have the same definition regarding metric spaces also. What is complete metric space then? Yes, can anyone define what is complete metric space? This is complete non-linear space we have seen, no? Only that non-linear space, if I replace by metric space, it will be complete metric space. Correct, na? A metric space, say capital X together with the D as a metric, said to be complete if every Cauchy sequence converges to an element of the same metric space, right? Later we have seen the relation between non-linear space and metric space, that every normed linear space is a metric space. Okay, that is if I take a non-linear space and if I define the metric B as norm x minus y, then this is a metric space. We have verified all the four conditions of metric by using the conditions of norm. One can verify easily that every non-linear space is metric space. But converse need not be true. That is, metric space need not be a norm-linear space. For this, we have generated a, or we have given the counter example. This is a metric space example. One can verify the properties, but this metric space is not, or this metric is not going to satisfy this fourth property of norm function. Therefore, this is not a normed linear space. Okay, that's why this is a relation between the spaces I told you: topological space, metric space, non-linear space. Inner product space is yet to come. That we will see in the second unit of this functional analysis. If you have any query, any doubt up to this, you can ask. Otherwise, we will go for the next point of the syllabus. Okay? No difficulty? Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the next property is actually to check the nature of a norm function, whether it is uniformly continuous or not. Before that, we will take some two simple examples to understand the metric norm relation between the two spaces. Okay. The first example, it is asked us to show that distance between x plus z and y plus z. It is asked us to show that this is distance between x and y in any metric spaces. For all x, y, z, v is a metric space. Okay. Now this we have to do with the help of a previous relation. That is norm. Correct, na? D of xy is norm of x minus y. Correct, no? Let us try to prove this. Let me start with the left hand side, considering distance between x plus z and y plus z. According to this relation between metric and norm, how can I write the distance between these two vectors? This is norm of right? Now x plus z minus y plus z, z cancels. For here v remains with norm of x minus y. This is actually d of xy. Therefore, we have proved it. We have proved it by mathematical steps. Now it's a time to understand this by geometry. If you feel geometry is important, then only I will tell. If you don't need it, I can skip this part. Yes, students?
Take, ma'am. Please take.
Sure, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, some students may feel that why it is necessary to understand the geometry always. Proving example is sufficient for us. If you feel so, you just please tell me. Okay. Now let us mark the two coordinates, three coordinates, sorry, x, y, and z somewhere. Okay. For first, I'll mark x here, y, let it be somewhere here. And for the sake of my convenience, I'll mark z somewhere here. What about the vectors? I am showing this in R2 plane, okay? R2 space, plane. You are not going for a 3D space because in 3D, we have to do more calculations, more constructions. Right? These are the three vectors or points you can say. Now, can anyone tell me the position of x plus z and y plus z so that we can find out the distance between these two points? Yesterday we have discussed it, I think. Correct, no? How to find out x plus z position? Yes, anyone? How can I find out x plus z position? Yesterday we have discussed it, no? While proving a theorem. Every non-linear space is a metric space. Okay. Let me repeat again. To find out the position x plus z, we have to complete the parallelogram, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Parallel to this. And this is somewhere here it is x plus z, right? Same, in order to find out y plus z, what I have to do? I have to plot a parallel line here, no? Parallel to this OZ. Okay, and then parallel to OY. Right now, this will be a location y plus z. What is the meaning of distance of x plus z and y plus z? Let us consider it as a shortest distance. For the sake of convenience, D, I am taking shortest distance. What is the meaning of shortest distance? Joined by straight line. Correct? How to find out the distance between these 2 points then? Shortest distance? Shortest distance is actually join the 2 points by a straight line, and whatever the distance will be a shortest. It is not looking like a straight line. You try to assume this as a straight line. Okay, therefore may I write this is D, x plus z and y plus z. Correct, no? Distance between these 2 points. Then what is the distance between the 2 points x and y? Again, I have to join this x and y by a straight line. Therefore, may I say this is my d of xy. Can you see from the figure they are exactly same? D of xy is exactly same as d of x plus z and d of y plus z. Proving mathematically it is so easy, no? Norm x plus z minus norm y plus z, which gives you norm x minus y. But if I want to show it, how the distance between the 2 points x plus z and y plus z is exactly same as distance between x and y. This is what a procedure we have to follow. Any difficulty with the sketch?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me go for one more example. Again, it is asked us to show that distance between alpha x and alpha y is mod alpha times distance between x and y. Okay, let us try to show it mathematically first. Alpha x, alpha y is norm of alpha x minus alpha y. Therefore, I can write this as norm of alpha times x minus y. Now, let me use the fourth property of the norm function. May I write this as mod alpha into norm of x minus y. Right now? But what is norm x minus y? This is actually
D of x.
d of x. That is distance between the 2 points alpha x and alpha y is mod alpha times distance between x and y. Let us try to plot it again. Okay. Now what one has to do? One has to plot 2 lines, one for x and one for y. Okay. Let me plot somewhere the coordinates x and y first. Let this be my coordinate x and let this be my coordinate y. What will be the position of alpha x? Yesterday we have discussed this is either on the line extended forward or extended backward. Time being, if I assume alpha positive, it will be on the line extended forward. Correct, no? And what about the distance between x and y? This is the distance, no? Straight line. Right? Now let me mark alpha x and alpha y. Okay. If alpha I am taking some 2 say. At time being, let me mark in general. Let somewhere here be alpha x. Correct? It will be on the line extended forward. Similarly, let me mark the position of alpha y as well. Similarly, let me mark the position of alpha y as well. Then what about the distance between alpha x and alpha y? This is a straight line again, right? It's like this. Now what we were claiming, whatever this distance we have written, distance of xy is mod alpha is actually distance mod alpha times distance of xy for distance of alpha x and alpha y. The relation between these two is mod alpha times. This length is mod alpha times this length d of xy. This is what we were claiming. Okay. If you want to check it again in detail, you take the coordinates, some specific coordinates x 1 2 1 3, calculate the distance, then take some alpha value, then again you find out the coordinates alpha x alpha y, and again find out the distance by using a distance formula. Then easily you can verify. But this is what a general idea. This distance is mod alpha times this distance. This is what the examples claim, right? Any difficulty on this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now we were going to check the nature of a norm function, whether it is continuous or uniformly continuous or not. Before that, we have to prove an important result, so that the result will help us to understand, right, the nature. For the first result, we want to prove, or we want to show that modulus norm x minus norm y less than or equals to norm of x minus y for all x, y in V. Now when we have a question why it is taken again in modulus, we were discussing everything in norm, no? Let me just try to tell you again. Norm is a function we were defining on a vector space N to the set of real numbers or to the set of complex numbers. But we know very well that on R, we have defined a metric, usual metric. What is the usual metric we have defined on R? Mod of x minus y, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, therefore if I take any x and y, say here, x and y are the two elements of n. What about the norm x and norm y values? Norm x and norm y are the values in either R or C, right? Therefore, those are the real numbers, no? Let me take it in R only. These are my real numbers. And what is the metric working on real numbers? Metric working on real numbers, one can say take a usual metric. Therefore, a distance between these two real numbers is taken with the help of modulus function again. Is the point clear? Modulus of norm x minus norm y. Okay? लक्षात येते का?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Whenever we wanted to prove a relation of this type, mod of x less than or equals to a, what we wanted to prove actually? Minus a less than or equals to x less than or equals to a, right now? Or one can prove this right inequality x less than or equals to a. What about the left inequality? Minus a less than or equals to x. Let me multiply by the negative sign. That what it will be? A greater equal by minus x, no? Correct now? A greater equal by minus x. Okay. If one can prove by any of the relations, either you can prove like this or like this. Okay. Let me start the proof. In order to prove this, let me start with norm x. Okay. Now I just wanted to add y somewhere. So let me make a pure adjustment, x minus y plus y. Okay. Now let me use the triangular inequality over these two vectors. What the triangular inequality tells us? This is less equal by students, you have to reply me so that I can come to know that you are listening to me. Right? Correct, no? Listening or not?
Yes,
Listening or
ma'am.
not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now this is what we are. Now let me shift that term norm y to the left and it becomes norm x minus norm y less than or equals to norm of x minus y. Let me call this as my first inequality. This we have proved. Correct now? X less than or equals to. Time being you assume This is your x and this is your a. Mod x less than or equals to a, I wanted to prove. First point I have proved that x is less than or equals to a. What I wanted to prove now? Minus x less than or equals to. Right? Again. Now let me start with norm y. If I start with norm y, I have to adjust x. Let me adjust x as y minus x plus x. Correct? Again, separating this over the two vectors y minus x and x, it becomes norm of y minus x added with norm of x. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about, can I change this order here? X minus y if I wanted to make, what can I do? I'll take minus 1 common and I can write this as x minus y plus norm of x. Right now, then how can I evaluate this step? By using the fourth property, I have to evaluate. Mod of norm of alpha x. How it can be evaluated? Yes?
Mod of minus 1 into norm of x minus y.
Very good. Plus this norm of x as it is. What about the value of mod of minus 1? It's plus 1.
1.
1.
This term becomes, this term is having the value. Let me shift this norm x to the left. So this is norm y minus norm of x less than or equals to norm of x minus y. I'll just take a negative common. Therefore, it can be written as negative norm x minus norm y less than or equals to norm of x minus y. Therefore, what we have proved? Minus x less than or equals to a. Correct now? Or let me make one more step, multiplying both sides by the negative. Norm x minus norm y is greater or equal by negative norm of x minus y. Let me call it as statement number 2. Now let us just combine the two statements. Norm x minus y is less equal by this and this is greater or equal by negative norm x minus y. Let me just combine from 1 and 2. Negative norm x minus y is less than or equals to norm x minus norm y, which is again less than or equals to norm of x minus y. This I have written here. Correct now? For what we have proved?
Yes.
Minus a less than or equals to x less than or equals to a. Therefore, can I write directly? This is mod norm x minus norm y less than or equals to norm of x minus y. Hence the proof. Any difficulty? If you have, you can ask me. Yes? Any difficulty in this result? It's very simple result actually.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, let us look at this result very carefully. Now we wanted to check the nature of a norm function. Norm function. Okay. What is the definition of a function to be continuous? Let me just recall. For epsilon greater than 0.
There exists delta greater than 0.
Such that
F of x minus f of a is less than epsilon.
f of a. Let us write for uniform continuity. Is it fx minus fy less than epsilon? Right, no?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever x minus y is less than
delta. Now look at this result very carefully. If I take norm of x minus y, okay, what will happen if I wanted to take this in? If I wanted to take this result in norm, f is real valued function. F is real valued means what? F defined from x to r. X and y are the two elements of a norm. This is norm linear space C. And this is real. What about fx and fy? Are the elements of R. And on R we were taking modulus. Therefore the same definition will carry out. Only here this modulus I have to replace by norm. Correct now? Here there is no need to replace by norm, but here we have to replace it by norm. Getting me? Okay.
Yes.
Therefore, if I put this norm of x minus y less than delta, what will happen? May I say automatically this mod norm x minus norm y becomes less than delta. And you select delta is equal to epsilon. So this condition holds, no? Let's see what I'm telling. No doubt I'll give you the detailed proof. Suppose I'll take norm of x minus y less than delta. Therefore, may I write this mod norm x minus norm y less than delta?
Yes, ma'am.
But what we want less than epsilon, no? Therefore, take delta equal to epsilon. We have proved it, no? This is norm function. Norm of x minus y less than delta will imply norm x minus norm y less than epsilon. Hence, norm is a uniformly continuous function. Okay, that this from this result it is very clear that norm is uniformly continuous. If it is uniformly continuous, may I say it is continuous as well? Let us prove it. Let N be a normed linear space. Show that f defined from N to R defined by. Which function I am taking f as? Norm x, no? Is a continuous function. Right? Norm function is continuous, we wanted to check. Okay. What I have to do? To prove this to be a continuous function, I will assume there is a sequence xn tends to x and I wanted to prove fxn tends to x, right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Let there exist. Can anyone tell me a reason behind this? There exists a sequence xn in x and such that xn tends to x as n tends to infinity. To prove that f is continuous, what we wanted to show? We have to prove that. What we have to prove? Fxn converges to f of x as n tends to infinity. Right? I want a reason behind this. Next lecture. Why we were proving continuity like this. We were not going as per the definition. Is it as per the definition only? Think on this. Now by previous result, modulus norm x minus norm y less than norm of x minus y. Let me call it as statement number 1. Okay. Now as xn tends to x, shall I write here only? As xn tends to x, as n tends to infinity, it implies norm of xn minus x less than epsilon. Right now? For given stage n. Right now? Therefore, norm xn minus x from 1 and 2. Let me write. Let me call this as 1. Let me call this as 2. Right? Now from 1 and 2, let me use the result for the two elements xn and x. May I write norm of modulus norm xn minus norm x less than norm of xn minus x. Correct now? For all n greater than or equals to capital N. Right? For all n greater than or equals to capital N, what is this value? This is less than epsilon. Therefore, may I write modulus norm xn minus norm x less than epsilon for all n greater than or equals to capital N. Therefore, this is actually f of xn minus f of x. F is a norm function we have taken. Okay. What this implies? F is, or I can write fxn can converges to f of x as n tends to infinity. Hence, f is continuous function. F is continuous function. And I will write a note that norm is uniformly continuous also. Why uniformly continuous? Because we know this result. Right now? Okay. Now by taking delta equal to epsilon, we get what we get. Initially I will take norm of x minus y less than delta. If this is less than delta, what about the left hand side? Yes, is it less than delta again? But delta is epsilon we were taking. Therefore, may I say this gives us norm function is uniformly continuous. Yes, any difficulty up to this you can ask me. Norm is continuous and uniformly continuous as well. Okay. Now we were going for the next result. Every convergent sequence in a non-linear space is Cauchy. Every convergent sequence in a non-linear space is Cauchy. Can you write the proof of this statement? Convergence you have, Cauchy you have to prove. I'll give you a hint. What is the hint? Convergence means what? Norm of xn minus x less than epsilon for all n greater than or equals to capital N. Right now? What's your claim? Norm xn minus xm less than epsilon for all n greater than or equals to capital N. Right now? Can you adjust
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
You have to start with this left hand side. X is an adjustment that you have to make, right? And to prove less than epsilon, you have to make some adjustment in the first statement as well. This is the homework I am giving you. It's a hint I have given. Okay, let me put this for the homework. Okay, what about the converse of the statement? Whether the converse is true always? Yes or no?
Yes.
Converse is true always. Why? Yes. Why converse is true always? Let me give one example. Let me give one example. What I'll do, I'll take a sequence of rational numbers of the type 1.4, 1.414. I'll just check my numbers. 1.41, 1.414, 1.4142. These are all decimal expansions of root 2, na? Is a sequence in Q I am taking rational numbers. All these are the rational numbers, no? What kind of sequence I am taking? What kind of sequence I am taking? Sn. Yes. decimal expansion of root 2. N decimal expansion I will write. Sn is n decimal expansion. What about S1? First decimal. S2, 2 decimals. S3, 3 decimals, and so on. What about the sequence? May I say the sequence converges to root 2? Sequence converges to root 2. But what about your number root 2? Is it your rational number?
No, ma'am.
Therefore, can you say that this is Cauchy surely? Therefore, can you say that this Cauchy sequence converges? It converges, no doubt, but it is not converging to the element of the same metric space. Right? No. Converse of the above statement need not be true. Okay? That's why this Q is not a complete metric space. Q is not a complete metric space. What is the definition of complete metric space? Or complete nonlinear space? If every Cauchy sequence is convergent in the same space, then it is convergent. Let me give one more example. Sn. Sn I will write 1 plus 1 upon n raised to n is a sequence of rationals again. Sequence in Q I can write. Right now, what is the first number? 1 plus 1 upon 1 raised to 1. That is 1 plus 1, no? 2. What about second number? N equal to 2. 1 plus 1 by 2, 3 by 2 raised to 2. Right? Now 3 by 2 raised to 2. Square it is. What is the square of 3 by 2? 9 by 2. It's a rational number. This is the sequence of rational number. Can anyone tell me what is the limit point? Limit point is E, no? If you have solved it previously. I'm not going to solve it again. You check. Limit point is E. Whether E is rational? No, this is not rational. But again, this Cauchy sequence is Cauchy model, but this Cauchy is not convergent to the same element. Right? Therefore, converse need not be true. Okay. Now, in the next lecture, we will see the definition of what is Banach space, who is the mathematician who has derived this Banach space. Okay. We will see this in the next lecture. If you have any difficulty in today's lecture, you can ask me about the result, about these 2 examples and all. Is the way of explanation is okay for you? Or if you need any changes, you can tell me accordingly. I am ready to make the changes in the teaching method. Okay, it seems there are no difficulties. Let me stop for today. Thank you for being with me for this lecture.